Hey you guys, excuse the background. I was doing some other videos, so I decided to sit right here and go ahead and do a story time video. I hope the scenery is nice and my makeup still looks good. So let's go ahead and get into this. Now you guys, I said I wasn't going to do any more stories about Bob, but this doesn't really have to do with him and I's relationship as far as being a couple, but I do have to let you guys know this story does involve Bob a lot. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share it with you guys because honestly Bob has really been ticking me off lately, and I just want to vent and tell y'all some of the stuff he still did after we weren't together anymore. So you guys, this is about the time that I had to call the law the po-pos on him. Bob and I hadn't been together for a year at this point. And I was so happy. I had my good job that I've still been at to this day. I didn't have no stress. I had a new friend, like just a friend. I wasn't trying to have no boyfriend or nothing again. I just wasn't ready for no boyfriend yet. Not yet, but then I found my boo, my love. But anyway, I had a friend that I don't even know what happened to this person anymore. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just was having a good time enjoying my life. And Bob did not seem to like that too much. Because one, I broke it off with him. And I guess he really did not believe that I was going to move on and be over all the drama that I have with him. But drama still followed me a little while with Bob because he couldn't get certain stuff through his head. One day I was actually getting off of work, and I think this was around the summertime when this happened. And normally in the summertime my girls would go to daycare, but other times they wouldn't. They would stay with Bob at his grandmother's house. And Bob was not working at all. He might have been doing his hustle thing, but he was not working. He did not have a legit job. And so he would keep my girls sometimes, because my girls, even to this day, they think their daddy can do no wrong. Their daddy's girls, they love their daddy. Regardless of things they know of and have seen, they love their dad to death. I had gotten off work early that day, and the guy that I was, just chit-chatting with, he wanted to take me out to eat. So we went out to eat. This was actually the man that was married, and I did not know it. He was wanting to take me out to eat, so we had went out to eat. And after that, he had took me back to my car, and I went to go pick up my daughter's dad. So yes, I had finally got my own car. I was doing good. Everything in my life was going straight, besides my still little issues that I was having with Bob. So I went to go pick up my girls, and when I went in there, it's not like I was late to get them. It was the same time that I would have got them if I hadn't got off work early. So when I walked in, he had just a nasty, negative attitude. I walked in, I was trying to be polite because, that's his grandmother's house. I was just trying to get my girls and go home so I could get out them clothes and relax. Now, mind y'all, I was looking real cute that day. Really cute. I had just got my hair done. That's when I wore more of my little, not even ghetto, but y'all wouldn't believe I used to have an open face gold tooth. I used to have this pierced. I had this pierced when I was dealing with Terrence, but y'all, I was a little different than I am now. I had my long 20-inch weave ponytail with that deep swoop. Like it was, I thought I was all the way right. And I was a lot more smaller, but I was still a thickums, but a real just bam. And I knew I was cute that day. Plus, I was trying to look cute for the person that I was entertaining. And so I went in there, and I had called him before. I said, I'm on my way. Can you have my girls ready? And when I went in the house, my girls didn't have their shoes on. They didn't have their coats. He didn't have my daughter's bag and stuff together or anything like that. So I'm like, I told you I was on my way. And I didn't say it rude. All I said was, I told you I was on my way. Can you please get their shoes and stuff for me so we can go home? The first thing that came out of his mouth, and we haven't been together for a year, maybe a little over a year, is, bitch, your fat ass should have been here a long time to get these girls. And mind you, he don't know I got off work early. He don't know I went out to get something to eat before I got my kids or anything. I said, first off, you need to watch who you talking to. And I said, this is the same time I come and get my girls all the time. I don't know if it's because how I was looking, he was just like, man, shit, you know, talking stuff. And I'm thinking, who the hell are you talking to? You know, he's talking all this stuff under his breath, this and that. You mad for whatever reason when this is the normal time I come and get my kids? Are you mad? What's the problem? And I'm looking like, are you for real? Like, I got so pissed. I had my cell phone in my hand and I threw it right at his face and it hit him dead in his face. Like, mind you, my other two children are in the back room. They was back there supposed to be getting their shoes and stuff. And then his grandmother, she was in her bedroom sitting in her chair. She was a larger woman and she really didn't, I mean, she moved around, but not like that. But I could hear her yelling, telling him to, you know, stop doing whatever he was doing, all that noise he was talking. So anyway, like I said, I threw the phone directly at his face. Next thing you know, he came charging at me. First, I stopped because I couldn't believe it. Next thing you know, I just put my hands up like, are you serious? He came charging at me. He like went, grabbed me and pushed me into the living room couch. It was their dining room was right there, a little bitty hallway, and then you go right into the living room. So he's on top of me, like on top of me, trying to choke. Like, we hadn't had no issues besides him always talking stuff and wanting to try to get back with me. And always saying I thought I was better than him and this and that. But I would ignore that. But I don't know if I just looked so good that day and he was just frustrated with how his life was going. And I don't know what it was. But the man came and choked me. He was on top of me, choking me out. And I'm laying down on the couch with my fist. You know, I'm like, he's really choking me. But I'm underneath trying to hit him in his stomach and hit him in his sides. Because when I tell you that man was all of 135 pounds, he was a skinny little man. And he still is to this day. And I'm trying to like hit him in his side. I'm taking my nails because I had my nails on. I'm like trying to gouge his eyes out. And like his grandma finally, she's screaming. And finally you can hear her. I could remember trying to hear her come to the front. And I don't know. I didn't know one of his cousins was there. He comes and pulls him off. Once he got off of me, I went charging. I just saw black. My baby, I could hear her crying. His grandma still yelling. I'm charging at him, going off, trying to swing, trying to fight, trying to do everything. Like, what is your problem? Next thing you know, I was like, you know what? I'm not about to do this in front of my kids because, you know, he's, regardless of anything, he's still stronger than me. That little dude was still stronger than me. But I was getting some hits in. All he kept saying was fat, 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 fat. Clearly, I knew I was not skinny. But at the same time, you had 3 kids with this fat person you keep talking about. Never once did you call me ugly. Never once did you call me stinky. Never once did you call me an unfit mother. Never once did you call me anything else but fat, fat, and a bitch. That is all he ever called me. So eventually, I'm trying to find my phone that I had threw at him, and it's under the table. So I get it. He's steadily talking stuff. Then he's not letting me get my child. Like, I don't care what you talking about, but these is my kids. Yes, we made them together, but these is my kids. I called 911 quick. I thought he thought I was playing. I'm thinking, I'm not the same Basima that I used to be. I don't have time for you. Only time I have to deal with you is because you the father of my 3 daughters. Other than that, if you died today or went to jail, I could care less. That's how I really felt. Like, I don't give a hot shit about you. I'm like, you know what? Forget all this. I'm too cute for this. So I called 911. They got there pretty quick. I tell them what happens. I'm like, I don't live here. This is his grandmother's house. But I came to pick up my daughters. He attacked me. And they were like, are you okay? I was like, he choked me out, this and that. He attacked me. Then he comes from the back room. This B trying to take my kids. She trying to take my kids. Next thing you know, the officers are like, okay, well, y'all just come on in, because we sitting on the porch saying this to the police officers. So they come in the house. They're like, okay, what's going on? There's small children here. Y'all shouldn't be doing this, and that. And I'm like, I just came to pick up my kids, and I'm still probably yelling because I get hyped, and I'm probably yelling, talking to the officers. Like, I came to pick up my kids, and this dude attacked me because he's mad about something with me or just mad at himself. And I don't like that. And I said, yes, I threw my phone at him. The lady officer, she took me outside, and I ain't gonna lie, his grandma though, she kept it real. She told that he was the one starting stuff. Normally you would think a grandmother would be like, oh, my grandson didn't do this or he didn't do that. But she really was like, no, he did this and he did. She tried to say something, he had a bad day or some mess, which it still don't matter. And the lady was like, well, you as the custodial parent, you can get a restraining order. But the thing is, if you get a restraining order, he cannot come near you or the children. And when I tell y'all, my kids love their daddy, they love their daddy to death. Hell, I think they still like their daddy a little more than me, because I'm a strict parent when it comes to them. How I was feeling at that time, I was like, okay, that's fine. She was like, now if you get the restraining order, he cannot be in a certain amount of feet near you or in a certain area with you or the children. And if he does, I forget what she said. If he does, something about my kids could be taken away because it's a domestic dispute, or it was some bull crap. But the police was just like, ma'am, just go ahead and leave, get your kids, and just go home. And tomorrow you need to go to the courthouse and try to get a restraining order and do all of this other junk. I leave, and I didn't know if the police had left or not. I realized while me and him were tussling, I had my job ID for me to get into my building. It must have fallen out in the yard to his grandma's house, or it fell in his grandmother's house because it wasn't in my pocket anymore. And so I was like, fuck. So I was thinking like, damn, I gotta go back over there. And I was hoping kind of that the police was still there. You know how sometimes they linger around after. So I was hoping the police were still there. So when I pulled back up, nobody's outside. The police car ain't there. So I'm like, but his grandma's light is still on. You could see it because her room was at the front of the house, so you could see anytime her light was on. So I was like, fuck. So I went up there, knocked on the door, hoping his cousin that was there would answer, or hopefully his grandma was in the living room and somehow she would answer. And he comes outside still yelling stuff like you mad for what? I honestly feel like he was mad because I was doing better for myself. I wasn't depending on him, no other dude to take care of my kids. I got my kids diapers, I got them food, I got them clothes, and it was nothing that he did that he could say he contributed to. And I felt like it was getting to him that I wasn't miserable and crying and trying to come back to him. Why would I? I left you. I don't want to go through that stuff no more. His grandmother on her steps on the side wasn't really big, but she had a orangish kind of red flower pot. It was like a medium size flower pot on the side of her stairs outside. He was like, you fat bitch, don't come over here no more. All I know is I looked in my rear view just in time. He threw the vase at the back of my car. Mind you, my children are in the car. And if that vase, it did hit my car and it broke on my car, but it didn't hit like the big window in the back of the car. But it hit my car and it broke. I was fuming. That could have went through and hit my kids, busted the glass, hurt my kids, anything. Let me tell y'all something. I said, you know what? I'm fuming. At this point, I'm in the car crying like, why would you do this with your kids in the car? Why are you attacking the mother of your kids that ain't done nothing to you? All I did was come and get my kids. I'm thinking, what the hell is wrong with this nigga? All I did was went straight to my brother's house. I didn't even go home. I was so mad, so upset. Like, you putting your hands on me. We not in no relationship. I don't have to do what you say. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to put up with you. But my kids love you. And I don't want to be that mother that keeps her kids away from their father. I went to my brother's house and I was telling him what happened. And, you know, he was getting mad. And they've already had their issues. And he called Bob talking stuff. And then Bob, of course, all he does is resort to gun violence. And he's not a man that can use his hands to square up with another man. So, you know, they said whatever they said, and my cousins, they end up somehow getting on the phone, female cousins, saying all this stuff to him. Like, it was just a mess. And I told my brother, don't even go over there, because I don't know who's over there now. I don't want no drama. My brothers mean the world to me, but it just pissed me off that you do stuff like this because you're mad at the choices you've made in your life. And so I told him that I'm putting a restraining order on him, and that they said that he can't see my kids or anything like that. Some stuff like that. It's happened so long ago. I remember the main stuff that really pissed me off. But my brother was just saying, regardless of how much you hate him, and this is what he said before other stuff happened in our family, but he was like, but regardless of how much you hate him and how much stuff he's done to you, you know them kids love their daddy so much. All they do is talk about their daddy, especially my oldest daughter. All they do is talk about they daddy this, they daddy that. He was like, they don't know no better, but you shouldn't keep them kids from their daddy. And I think he was saying that stuff because, you know, as a father, you don't want to be kept from your children. So I don't know what happened, but the restraining order never happened. But he did not see my kids for the next like 4, almost 5 months, because it was not a good thing. But yeah, y'all, that's the time I had to call the police on Mr. Bob while we not together. And like I said, to this day, I never really understand what that was about. But that was the last time he ever put his hands on me, like ever in life. Because I'm thinking like, are you kidding me? When I tell y'all honest to God truth, I came and got my kids. Okay, for example, I got off at 5 o'clock normally. They let us leave that day early, or I don't know if I had already scheduled that day to leave early or whatever the case was. I probably left around 1 or 2 o'clock. I didn't even work a full day. So we went to grab something to eat and we're done way before time. He took me back to my car, and I actually even got to Bob's house a little earlier than I normally would, just getting off of work at 5 o'clock. So I didn't understand what the problem was. From what my cousin tells me, she was like, you was looking so good. He was so mad and frustrated that you had left him and he couldn't have that no more. I'm thinking, really? Really? Oh, y'all, oh my God, I even said this when he was choking me. Y'all, now this was petty. I'm not even gonna lie. This was petty to say, but I don't give a damn. I was thinking that was gonna get him up off of me. In the midst of him choking me and me trying to hit him, you know, while he's on top of me, I'm screaming, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. You gonna hurt my baby. I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. And then it wouldn't have been by him either. So I knew by saying I was pregnant, that he would have jumped up and got off of me. Hell, that made him get on me even more. Like he had more pressure, more force. So I think that really pissed him off. So I was thinking, damn, because if I had been, which I wasn't, because this girl wasn't trying to get pregnant, especially not by that married man I eventually found out about. But I just said that just to see, hoping that would get him off of me, because that little nigga was strong. But no, that didn't help one bit. If anything, it made the situation worse. So it's the time that I had to call the police on Bob. So yeah, the story was a little bit ratchet, a little bit of pettiness. To this day, you guys, like I said, my kids love their daddy, even though he still does stupid stuff even to this day. Not as stupid as when we was younger, but he still, to me, hasn't grown up all the way. You know, he's trying to be a better daddy. When you have as many kids as him, you have to try to, you know, improve yourself. But yeah, that's the time I had to call the police on him. And I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I'm sure y'all gonna leave y'all comments and opinions below, so go ahead. I'm ready to see them. I'm telling my business to y'all, so might as well just take what y'all give me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. My next story time will be about probably my first street fight, or the time that I got my first tattoo without my dad knowing. So y'all let me know which one of those y'all want to hear. But yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, loves.